The Mirage Pipe mystery in Super Mario Sunshine. Seeing is believing. We've all heard that phrase before. We need to visually see something to accept that it exists. And while most of the time this obviously applies to real life, the world of video games can kind of have that same application. But what if you see something that is out of place? Something you don't remember existing, but can visually confirm it is indeed in front of you. Do you simply accept it exists? Or do you question whether it is truly there? Well, that's where we find ourselves today in Super Mario Sunshine. Out on Isle Delfino in the blistering heat exists something that we can see, but upon closer inspection, appears to not exist. This is the Mirage Pipe mystery of Super Mario Sunshine. I hope you enjoy. The heat wave effect in Super Mario Sunshine was always neat to me. I mean, I know lots of people hated it, but it really made the game feel that much more hotter when combined with Mario's sweating animations. Area effects like these really sell the experience of a hot environment. I think back to Ocarina of Time's slight ripple on the camera when you were in areas that had blistering heat. It changed the entire experience of the room, and it made the area just feel that much more hot. But Ocarina of Time's heat effect wasn't quite to the extreme that Super Mario Sunshine's was, and it was this extreme rippling effect that sort of filtered out the world around you. Objects far away danced in a steamy-like wave as the sun fried the island down below. So even though you could be looking straight ahead, you actually wouldn't see things too clearly. The only way to see something clearly was to move towards it, so that this heat barrier moved behind the object you wanted to see. Trying to look past this heat wave was like trying to look through a mirage, and it was troublesome. But this heat wave isn't just an aesthetic choice to make the environment look hotter. It actually masks out the active range for objects in the game. You see, characters and other objects actually stop moving when they get out of a certain range for Mario. Perhaps this was to save on resources, but the player has a harder time noticing this when a character is behind the heat wave, because even though the character is static, it's hard to see, and the character appears to be moving due to the rippling effect of the wave. In reality, the character is frozen in place until Mario enters this active range again. It's a pretty neat trick. But it's this heatwave effect that actually kind of kicks off this whole mystery. Things in the distance are hard to make out, and sometimes you can question what you're actually seeing. Now, what's neat about Super Mario Sunshine is that they did an excellent job of making Isle Delfino feel enormous. They made sure that the majority of the levels in the game were still visible in other levels. Pinna Park's giant Ferris wheel can be spotted from multiple areas, as can the hustle and bustle of Ricco Harbor. But have you ever stopped to look at the places in the distance? Like, really stopped and looked. Sure, they are background assets, but there is one in particular that is quite strange, and we have to head to Ricco Harbor to see it. So if we enter Ricco Harbor and look back out towards Isle Delfino, you'll see there is an island with a palm tree. And if we look through the heat wave closely, we'll also see that there is a pipe at the bottom of the tree. This island is between Ricco Harbor and Delfino Plaza. Now, a site like this isn't weird at first glance, because there are pipes scattered all around Delfino Plaza and Super Mario Sunshine for that matter. Except, a pipe here normally does not exist. If we head out of the level back into Delfino Plaza and look out across to Ricco Harbor, we can see that same island with the palm tree. If we head over there, we will see the only pipe-like object on the island is a sewer manhole, which is honestly quite strange in its own right because it makes no sense at all to have a sewer opening over here. But the green pipe itself is missing. It's funny because I can't help but remember how pipes spawn in Super Mario Galaxy, and part of me wondered if the pipe was perhaps hidden in the sand. What's actually neat about this island with a pipe in the distance in Ricco Harbor is that the island only exists due to the water's reflective ability. Truthfully, the island itself is submerged in water. Only the pipe and the tree are sticking out of the water, and none of the sand can be seen. Beneath the water though, we can see the rounded sand island is there. So despite us looking outward and seeing the whole island, it's merely a visual trick caused by how water reflections work in the game. It reflects the island below it onto the water's surface, despite the island being completely submerged. With reflections removed and transparency restored to the water, we can see that the island is indeed completely submerged, which is odd. Somehow this rogue island with a pipe and tree got swallowed up by the sea, creating quite a neat visual. That is, considering that this island shouldn't exist here. Now there's indeed an island just like this that does have a pipe on it, but it's on the complete opposite side of Delfino Plaza. This island would not be visible, except for maybe the chance that someone can see the palm tree. All the buildings in the plaza would obstruct this island from view. And for good reason. Why would anyone want to be reminded of the horrors that take place there? No one enjoyed that leaf ride minigame or the long haul to get a Yoshi over there before they figured out the easy way to do it. This island is normally a sight of suffering for most players. Now at this point, you might be thinking, well, the cursed Yoshi Island looks like it could be this island, but the developers simply put it in the wrong spot. And, yeah, That sounds like a feasible thought. It's weird though, because in other versions of Delfino Plaza, when viewed from farther away places like Pinna Park, the island is basically completely wiped out. I mean, you wouldn't see any details beyond the heat wave at that distance anyways, so I guess it makes sense. But it is very probable that this pipe we see on this island is simply a developer oversight. A developer got the islands mixed up and decided to terraform the world by having them switch places in the sea. But with all this said, you might be thinking, if there's a pipe out there, can we go down it? Well, there's some issues with that. For starters, this object is way out of bounds. From the origin point of the level, its position is roughly 29,000 by 35,000 units in terms of X and Z values, and that's pretty far. Also, pipes in Super Mario Sunshine are different than in games like Super Mario Galaxy or Super Mario 3D Land. In those two examples, pipes are objects that can be placed anywhere, and you only need to have an entrance and exit pipe for them to work. The pipe animation takes place within this pipe, but in Super Mario Sunshine, things are a bit different. Instead of the pipe being placed as an object, the pipe is instead baked into the 3D model for the map. So there is a very uniform look to the pipes you find throughout the game, and that's where the Mirage Pipe way out in the distance fails to measure up. It isn't as detailed as other pipes in the game, and it uses way fewer polygons than normal pipes. This is because it's way out in the distance and hidden by the heat wave, so it doesn't need to be detailed. Now, there are different kinds of pipes in the game, but they're all set up the same. You have the 3D model of the pipe, a black texture inside that hides the player once they fall through it, and then you have the loading zone that essentially catches the player. There is a cubic region underneath each pipe that teleports the player to another level, and if that isn't present, the player is caught within a collision box. This is what an inactive pipe looks like if we move the warp out of the pipe. Mario can land down below, and he's basically floating inside the level. We can jump up and down out of the black interior of the pipe if we choose to. But knowing how pipes are set up also reveals that even if this island, way out in the distance, did have collision and we could stand on it, the pipe would not take us anywhere. There is no warp beneath the pipe, so unfortunately, it doesn't take us anywhere cool. The pipe will remain just a mirage in the distance that confused certain players who caught onto it being peculiar. Anyways, I hope you learned something new in this video. Drop a like if you did, and I'll see you all soon in my next one. Cheers!